Hey everyone, welcome to a step-by-step instructional video on how to not lose bank when killing Revenants. Now you may be here perhaps because you want to get that fancy stat Warhammer and sell it for 250 mil for a nice cash stack, so you gear up with max gear because why not? It's the Wilderness in RS3, and there are no PKers because the Wildy is dead and they're all on old school. And if a PKer comes, two things can happen. Either they're probably shit and donate their skeletal because they can't compete with your record-breaking duo rack steeps. Or maybe if they look scary, you can tally out. Easy. Unfortunately, that's not the case. If you go to the RuneScape subreddit, you will find a bunch of crybabies whining about PKers because they think they're all filthy lures or skull trickers. This is actually not the case though. It's all the same. Every couple of days they will make a post along the lines of how they brought their 3-piece God Wars dungeon armor and Nox because they can 4-item and not lose anything. And when they get killed and lose their shit. But how? They weren't even skulled. Their protect item was on all the time. Somehow it turned off when they rock brewed and then surged into a tree or a rock or something. All because they performed an AoE on another player or their familiar, like about 98% of the time. If you don't know what they are, they're abilities like Hurricane and Dragon Breath that hit multiple targets. It's very funny because I'm sure that if you're able to afford a Nox, then surely you know the simplest of combat mechanics like AoEs. Know all of them. In PvM, if you're fighting, let's say, an elf, and you use Dragon Breath and it hits another elf, it attacks you back. Why? Because you attacked it! I don't see why it would be any different in the Wilderness. This is why if you spot a dumb PvMer on Reddit complaining about AoEs, you should just tell them that they're delusional. Now, skull tricking does exist, but this is very rare, and this is the guide to help you to not be that kind of dumb PvMer, even in case that happens. Okay, let's take a look at the gear setup. Maxed? Okay, no problem. Let's get the Scythe and Mallev. Oh wait, nope. Maybe that's not such a good idea after all, since Cleave is an AoE, and you can easily skull while doing that in multi. Maybe a Drygor might be better. For an offhand, I'd suggest something cheap, like a Blade of Avarice or even better, an Enhanced Excalibur. It's a really good idea to assume that you're skulled at all times, because accidents do happen. So for armor, maybe Dragon or Rock Shell. Emergency teleports work up to level 30 Wilderness, but not if you're teleblocked. In that case, it would be good to learn to tank the PKer. Abilities like Anticipation and Surge are very helpful, and also defenses like Reflect. If you're skulled, be extra careful, especially if you're in multi. Probably the most important thing is to activate the Protect item prayer, even when not skulled. Don't be that reject, like the ones from Reddit, who say that, oh, but I don't need Protect item because I'm not skulled. Those are the ones who end up becoming salty because after a week, they lose their +1 due to stupidity. Use it and make sure you bring enough prayer potions. If you plan to do things in the Wilderness a lot, you should also bring a Fury Shark. They will allow you to save an extra item for a minute if you die, which is useful if you somehow get smited or if you get maced. You can get these by killing Lava Strike Worms. Be very careful about superior ancient maces because if you don't have a Fury Shark, you may probably lose your +1 if you can't tank them. Lastly, don't be a complete idiot. Pay attention. This is the Wilderness, not Prif Load. Know your surroundings, like which areas are multi or single. Multi is very dangerous and you can lose all of your stuff very easily, like if a team comes. And know that things like disconnections and bugs can happen. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please press like if it helped you at all, or dislike if you're from Reddit and think the Wilderness should be a safe place where you won't lose your belongings. Thanks for watching.